The internet just caught fire, and fans are shocked because what was whispered for months has suddenly exploded into a full-blown scandal. Late last night, during a chaotic back and forth that no one saw coming, Tasha K claimed she dropped a bombshell so heavy it shook the timeline to its core. According to her, Tamar Braxton allegedly just confirmed what everyone was afraid to say out loud, that the infamous Mendeecees night wasn't a rumor, wasn't gossip, and definitely wasn't fake. And it all allegedly happened right after Funky Dineva went live and lit the match that set this entire drama ablaze. Sources say emotions ran high as fans replayed clips, dissected comments, and froze frames looking for clues. 1 minute it was jokes and shade, the next minute it was silence so loud it felt like a confession. Wait, did she really just say that? Viewers typed frantically as the chat scrolled out of control. And at the center of it all sits Mendeecees Harris, a name that instantly sent shockwaves through reality TV circles the moment it was mentioned. Allegiances shifted, friendships cracked, and the family was left divided as speculation turned into heated debate. Behind the scenes, insiders whisper that phones were blowing up, voices were raised, and tears may have been shed once the cameras stopped rolling. Was this a slip of the tongue, a calculated reveal, or a long-buried truth finally clawing its way to the surface? Fans are stunned, sides are being chosen, and one thing is clear, after this alleged confirmation, nothing will ever be viewed the same again. Stay right here, because once you hear how this night supposedly unfolded, you'll understand why the internet can't stop talking. The moment the claim hit the timeline, everything shifted. Chats exploded, reaction videos popped up within minutes, and people who swore they were done with celebrity drama suddenly leaned back into their screens. The night started replaying in everyone's mind like a movie scene that finally made sense. That so-called innocent hangout, the laughter, the awkward pauses that fans ignored at first, all of it was suddenly under a microscope. People started saying, wait, this explains everything, and the internet moved fast, faster than anyone involved could control. Behind the scenes, sources whispered that phones were ringing non-stop. One call turned into 10 turned into shouting matches, and by sunrise, nobody was sleeping. Insiders claimed Tamar wasn't supposed to say anything at all, that it slipped out during a private moment that wasn't meant for the public. But once Funky's live ended and the comments flooded in, there was no pulling it back. Fans said her tone changed, her voice dropped, and her eyes told a story before her words ever did. I didn't think y'all would take it there, she allegedly said, and that single line sent people spiraling. Tasha K didn't waste a second. According to people close to her, she saw the opening and ran straight through it. Cameras on, lips glossy, voice steady, she leaned into the narrative like she had been waiting for this exact confirmation. She claimed what fans had been piecing together for months was finally lining up. Timestamps, old clips, screenshots from nights nobody wanted to remember suddenly resurfaced. Emotions ran high as viewers argued in the comments, some defending, some accusing, and others just shocked that this was happening in real time. Meanwhile, Mendeecees' name started trending in spaces he hadn't touched in years. Some fans rushed to protect him, calling it messy and unnecessary, while others said the silence was louder than any denial could be. Allegedly, people close to him urged him to stay quiet, saying any response would only pour gasoline on the fire. But that silence didn't calm anything. Instead, it fueled theories. Why not shut it down? Why let the narrative run wild? Those questions echoed everywhere. Family members and friends were dragged into it whether they liked it or not. Text messages leaked, or at least that's what fans claimed they were seeing. One screenshot showed someone saying, "This should have stayed buried," and another read, "She wasn't supposed to confirm that." Nobody knew what was real anymore, but it didn't matter. Perception became truth online. Fans said the family was left divided, with some standing firmly behind loyalty and others choosing to distance themselves completely. Late that night, a so-called insider jumped into a live chat and dropped another twist. They claimed the night in question wasn't just a random meetup, but something planned weeks in advance. According to them, there were witnesses, moments that crossed lines, and conversations afterward that changed relationships permanently. The chat froze for a split second before erupting again. If that's true, everything changes, one fan wrote. Another said, "Now I see why she reacted like that." Tamar's camp reportedly went into damage control. Statements were drafted, deleted, rewritten, and never posted. Friends urged her to log off, but she stayed scrolling, watching public opinion flip back and forth. Some fans sympathized, saying she looked uncomfortable and pressured. Others accused her of playing innocent while letting others take the fall. The emotional weight of it all showed, and people swore they could hear it when she finally spoke again, her voice tight, her words careful, almost rehearsed. As the night stretched into morning, the drama didn't slow down. Reaction channels dissected every breath, every pause, every side eye. People replayed Funky's live frame by frame, convinced the truth was hiding in plain sight. Alliances shifted publicly, with some creators apologizing for doubting the story and others doubling down, saying there was still more to come. One thing was clear, this wasn't just gossip anymore. It had turned into a full-blown saga, and the first layer had only just been peeled back, leaving everyone bracing for what would spill out next. By the next afternoon, the silence had become unbearable, and that's when the story took a darker turn. Fans noticed unfollows, muted comments, and sudden disappearances from social media. What once felt like coincidence now looked intentional. People started lining up timelines, saying the night in question wasn't just confirmed, it was protected for a long time. Emotions ran high as longtime supporters argued with each other, some saying this was being blown out of proportion, others insisting the truth was finally being exposed. Behind closed doors, tensions reportedly boiled over. Voices were raised, doors were slammed, and someone close to the situation allegedly said there was a heated argument that turned into tears. "You promised this would never come out," one person was heard saying, while another snapped back, "I didn't confirm anything, y'all did." That back and forth allegedly went on for hours, reopening wounds that never healed. The family was left divided, with sides being chosen quietly but firmly. Tasha K returned with more confidence than ever, claiming she had been warned not to speak on it again. Instead of backing down, she leaned in harder. She suggested that this wasn't just about one night, but about a pattern of secrets and protection. Fans are shocked by how bold the claims became. She hinted that certain people benefited from silence, while others were painted as villains to distract from the real story. Viewers felt like they were watching a reality show unfold without cameras, raw and messy. Meanwhile, Tamar's reactions became the center of attention. Every post, every emoji, every like was analyzed. Some fans said she looked exhausted, others said she looked calculated. Screenshots of old interviews resurfaced, where her words now seemed loaded with double meaning. "I tried to move on," she once said in a clip that suddenly went viral again. Fans now questioned whether she ever really could. The emotional conflict played out publicly, and sympathy quickly turned into suspicion. Another unexpected twist came when a friend from the inner circle allegedly broke ranks. During a late-night live, they claimed the night changed everything, that trust was broken and relationships were never the same afterward. "Y'all only know half," they said, pausing dramatically. That pause was enough to send the internet spiraling. People begged for more details, while others accused them of clout chasing. Still, the damage was done. The idea that there was more hiding beneath the surface stuck. Reactions poured in from everywhere. Fans said they felt betrayed, like they had been rooting for people who weren't honest with them. Others admitted they felt uncomfortable watching something so personal unravel. Emotions ran high as comment sections turned into battlegrounds. One fan wrote, "This isn't entertainment anymore, this is pain," while another replied, "They chose the spotlight, now we see the truth." The divide grew deeper by the hour. Privately, there were reportedly attempts to shut it all down. Calls were made to bloggers, quiet requests sent to stop covering it, but the momentum couldn't be controlled. The more people tried to pull back, the more the story grew. Silence was read as guilt, and denials were called rehearsed. Fans claimed they could sense fear behind the scenes, especially when certain names stopped being mentioned altogether. By the end of that day, it was clear this wasn't going away. What started as a single alleged confirmation had snowballed into a full narrative of secrecy, loyalty, and regret. People questioned who knew what and when. Friendships that once looked solid now seemed fragile. And as night fell again, viewers sat refreshing their feeds, knowing deep down that this chapter wasn't over, because too many emotions were still unresolved and too many voices were waiting to speak. As the second night rolled in, the atmosphere online felt heavier, like everyone knew something big was coming but didn't know from which direction. Reaction lives overlapped each other, voices echoing the same questions, and still no clear denial from the people at the center. Fans said the silence felt strategic, almost coordinated. Someone close to the situation allegedly said there were group calls happening, last-minute conversations where people were reminded of old promises and unspoken rules. "This affects more than just you," one voice reportedly warned, hinting that the fallout could stretch far beyond one night. Then came another twist that nobody expected. A resurfaced clip from years ago began circulating, one that most people had forgotten about. In it, a casual joke suddenly sounded like a confession. Fans replayed it obsessively, slowing it down, reading lips, interpreting body language. Emotions ran high as people realized how many signs they may have ignored. "We were laughing, but she was telling us the truth the whole time," one fan commented. That realization hit hard, changing how people viewed everything that followed. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed the pressure was intense. Relationships that survived years of public scrutiny were now cracking under private tension. One source alleged there was a moment when everything almost came out fully, when someone was seconds away from saying it all before being stopped. "Don't do this," they were told. "Once you say it, you can't take it back." That warning alone convinced fans there was much more hiding beneath the surface. Tasha K doubled down again, this time speaking with a tone that felt less playful and more serious. She claimed she had receipts she wasn't releasing yet, saying she didn't want to destroy families, but she wouldn't be painted as a liar either. That statement divided viewers instantly. Some praised her restraint, others accused her of teasing the truth for attention. Still, the idea that unreleased proof existed kept everyone glued. Fans are shocked at how quickly trust shifted, how people who once stood together now appeared cautious and guarded. Meanwhile, Tamar's emotional state became impossible to ignore. Her energy online changed completely. No jokes, no casual engagement, just carefully chosen words and long pauses. One post simply read, "I'm human too," and that alone sparked thousands of reactions. Supporters flooded her comments with hearts and encouragement, while critics asked why humanity only seemed to matter now. The family was left divided not just publicly, but emotionally, with people struggling to decide whether to protect or confront. Another alleged insider stepped forward claiming the night in question led to a confrontation days later, one that never reached the public. According to them, feelings were expressed, boundaries were questioned, and apologies were offered that didn't fully land. "Some lines can't be uncrossed," they said. That line echoed everywhere, becoming a quote fans used to summarize the entire situation. It added depth to the story, turning it from gossip into something painfully human. As the hours passed, more people connected dots. Fans noticed who stayed quiet and who suddenly spoke up about unrelated topics. Distractions were spotted instantly. "Why is everyone avoiding the elephant in the room?" viewers asked. Emotions ran high as people accused others of deflecting to protect reputations. Every move felt calculated, every post felt intentional. Trust between creators and their audiences strained, with viewers feeling manipulated. By morning, the narrative had shifted again. What once centered on confirmation now focused on accountability. Fans demanded clarity, not hints. "Say it or stop" became a common phrase in comment sections. Some creators backed away, saying the situation had gone too far, while others pressed harder, convinced the truth was close. The tension felt like a stretched wire, ready to snap at any moment. Then came a quiet moment that spoke louder than words. A live was scheduled, promoted heavily, and then abruptly cancelled. No explanation, no reschedule. That cancellation alone sent shockwaves. Fans said it confirmed fear, not innocence. Theories exploded, ranging from legal threats to emotional breakdowns. The lack of transparency only deepened the mystery. Relationships continued to fracture. Friends unfollowed friends. Old collaborators distanced themselves. People who once defended each other stopped speaking entirely. The family was left divided in ways that felt permanent, not temporary. Some chose loyalty over truth, others chose peace over confrontation. Fans watched it all unfold, feeling like witnesses to something deeply personal yet undeniably public. By the time the third day ended, the story had evolved into something bigger than anyone intended. It wasn't just about what happened that night anymore, but about years of silence, protection, and unresolved emotions. Fans are shocked by how fragile everything suddenly looked. The glamorous images, the confident interviews, the laughter, all felt different now. The illusion cracked, and through it, people saw vulnerability, regret, and fear. As the fourth day began, the energy shifted once more. Instead of chaos, there was anticipation. People sensed that the next move would change everything. Whether it was a full confession, a firm denial, or a permanent retreat from the spotlight, something had to give. Viewers refreshed their feeds with nervous excitement, knowing they were watching a turning point in real time. And just when it felt like the story might fade, one final rumor surfaced, claiming that a private conversation had happened overnight, one that could end it all or blow it wide open. No details were confirmed, but the possibility alone kept everyone on edge. Emotions ran high, speculation intensified, and the internet held its breath, aware that the truth, whatever it was, could surface at any second and change every narrative built so far. As whispers of that alleged overnight conversation spread, the energy online shifted from loud chaos to a tense, anxious hum. It felt like everyone was waiting outside a closed door, knowing something serious was being discussed on the other side. Fans refreshed pages obsessively, reading into every minute that passed without an update. Some said the silence meant negotiations, others said it meant damage control. Either way, emotions ran high, because the longer it stayed quiet, the heavier the truth seemed to become. According to people claiming insider knowledge, that private conversation was emotional, uncomfortable, and long overdue. Voices were allegedly raised at first, then softened as reality set in. "We can't keep pretending this didn't happen," one person was rumored to have said. Another allegedly responded, "Once this comes out, nothing goes back to normal." That line alone sent chills through fans once it leaked into online spaces. The idea that everyone involved knew the consequences but still couldn't escape the moment added a new layer of gravity to the drama. Tasha K, sensing the shift, changed her approach yet again. Instead of teasing or joking, she spoke slowly and deliberately, telling viewers that some stories don't just expose scandal, they expose pain. Fans are shocked by the sudden seriousness in her tone. She hinted that what started as gossip had uncovered years of emotional compromise, where people chose silence to keep peace. She claimed that certain individuals sacrificed their own truth to protect others, and now that sacrifice was unraveling. Meanwhile, Tamar appeared visibly worn down. Her posts became fewer, and when she did speak, her words felt heavy. She addressed the pressure without naming names, saying she felt trapped between honesty and survival. That statement divided fans instantly. Some rallied behind her, saying she was being unfairly cornered. Others questioned why honesty only seemed to surface when someone else pushed it out. The family was left divided again, not just in loyalty, but in understanding what the right move even was. Another dramatic turn came when an old associate allegedly reached out to multiple bloggers at once. They claimed they were tired of watching the narrative twist without context. According to them, the night everyone was talking about didn't just affect one relationship, it sent ripples through an entire circle. They suggested trust was broken in multiple directions, not just one. "People think it's about attraction," they reportedly said, "but it's really about betrayal." That word hit hard and stuck. Fans began re-examining past fallouts with new eyes. Friendships that ended abruptly years ago suddenly made more sense. Moments that once felt random now appeared connected. Emotions ran high as viewers realized how much context they might have been missing. One fan wrote, "This is like re-watching a show and finally understanding the plot twist." Another said, "It hurts because these are real people." The tone of the conversation matured slightly, shifting from pure shock to uneasy reflection. Privately, there were rumors of legal discussions happening. Nothing confirmed, but the sudden careful wording from everyone involved raised eyebrows. Fans speculated about cease and desist letters, about lines that couldn't be crossed publicly. That possibility alone added pressure. Silence was no longer just emotional, it felt strategic. Creators tiptoed around certain phrases, careful not to say too much while still feeding their audiences enough to stay relevant. As night fell again, an unexpected live popped up from someone completely outside the core drama. They claimed they had been present around the time of the infamous night, not directly involved, but close enough to observe shifts afterward. They spoke about tension in the room days later, about conversations stopping when certain people walked in. "The vibe changed," they said repeatedly. Fans clung to that phrase, interpreting it as confirmation without confirmation. Emotions ran high once more. That live reignited everything. Hashtags resurfaced, arguments restarted, and the pressure on the main figures intensified. People demanded clarity, not coded language. "Stop protecting feelings and tell the truth," one comment read, while another said, "Some truths don't need to be public." The divide grew sharper. The family was left divided in the court of public opinion, with no clear way to satisfy everyone. Tasha K returned one more time, saying she was giving everyone involved a chance to speak before she did again. That statement felt like an ultimatum. Fans are shocked by how openly power dynamics were now being discussed. Who controls the story? Who gets protected? Who takes the fall? Those questions echoed everywhere. Viewers sensed a countdown, even without a date attached. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed emotions finally spilled over. Tears, regret, and anger reportedly surfaced in equal measure. Someone allegedly admitted they underestimated how deeply this would cut. Another reportedly said they wished they had shut it down years ago. Those confessions, even secondhand, shifted the narrative again. This wasn't about winning anymore, it was about surviving the aftermath. As the days dragged on, exhaustion set in. Fans admitted they felt drained but couldn't look away. Creators debated stepping back, then returned because the audience demanded updates. The cycle fed itself. Trust eroded further as people questioned every motive. Was anyone being fully honest, or was everyone protecting something? By the time the latest night ended, it was clear the story had reached a critical point. Either someone would finally speak plainly, or the silence would become permanent. Both options carried consequences. Fans sat with unresolved tension, knowing that even if the full truth came out, it wouldn't heal everything. Some lines had already been crossed, some relationships already damaged beyond repair. As the sun rose again, the drama felt less explosive but more serious. The shock had settled into something heavier: accountability. Viewers weren't just watching for entertainment anymore, they were watching to see who would own their role in the chaos. Emotions ran high, but beneath them was a quiet understanding that whatever happened next would define how this entire saga was remembered. And with that realization hanging in the air, everyone waited, knowing the next move would either close this chapter forever or tear it wide open one last time. As the waiting stretched on, a strange calm settled over the chaos, the kind that usually comes right before everything breaks open. Fans noticed the shift immediately. The frantic posting slowed, the loud accusations softened into uneasy speculation, and the tone across platforms turned almost cautious. It felt like everyone understood they were standing on the edge of something irreversible. Emotions ran high, but now they were mixed with fatigue, confusion, and a growing sense that this story had gone far deeper than anyone expected. Behind the scenes, the alleged overnight conversation continued to haunt the narrative. Whispers claimed it ended without resolution, that no clear agreement was reached, only an understanding that the truth couldn't be outrun forever. One source suggested there was a moment of silence so heavy it forced everyone in the room to confront what they had been avoiding for years. "This isn't about the internet anymore," someone allegedly said. "This is about what we did to each other." That line, once leaked, shifted everything again. Tamar's absence became louder than any statement she could have made. Fans dissected the quiet, some saying she was protecting her peace, others claiming she was being advised to disappear until the storm passed. Old supporters expressed concern, while critics accused her of letting others take the heat. The emotional conflict was impossible to ignore. Every past interview, every vulnerable moment, was re-examined through this new lens. Fans are shocked by how fragile her image suddenly felt, not weak, but human in a way people weren't prepared to handle. Tasha K, on the other hand, seemed to understand the moment perfectly. Instead of flooding timelines, she waited. That pause built tension more effectively than any headline. When she finally spoke again, her tone was measured, almost reflective. She said some stories change once you realize the damage they cause, but that silence can be just as harmful. Viewers felt the weight of that statement. Was it a warning, a justification, or both? Nobody could agree, and that disagreement kept the conversation alive. Another unexpected development came when someone close to the extended circle posted a vague message that instantly went viral. It didn't name names, but it spoke about loyalty being tested and truth being inconvenient. "Not everything hidden is innocent," the post read. Fans immediately connected it to the situation. Emotions ran high as people debated whether it was brave or messy. Some praised the honesty, others begged people to stop adding fuel. But the line had already been crossed again. The ripple effect spread wider. People who were only loosely connected began addressing the drama indirectly, speaking about boundaries, respect, and accountability in their own lives. Fans interpreted these as subtle sides being taken. Every word mattered now. Every silence was judged. The family was left divided not only internally, but in how the public perceived their choices. There was no neutral ground anymore. Late one evening, a rumor surfaced that a direct message had been sent, one final attempt to resolve things privately before anything else came out. According to speculation, it was emotional, honest, and raw. Whether it was received or ignored became another point of debate. Fans said the idea that reconciliation was even possible felt unrealistic after so much damage. Others held on to hope, believing people could still choose healing over exposure. As the tension peaked again, an old friend allegedly decided to step away completely. They unfollowed everyone involved, deleted old photos, and posted a single sentence about choosing peace. That quiet exit spoke volumes. Fans are shocked by how many people seemed affected by one night that happened so long ago. It raised uncomfortable questions about how moments we think are small can quietly reshape entire lives. Reaction channels slowed their coverage, not because interest faded, but because the mood changed. Creators admitted the story felt heavier now, less like drama and more like watching unresolved trauma surface publicly. Emotions ran high in comment sections where fans shared personal stories relating to regret, silence, and consequences. The narrative became less about blame and more about understanding how things reached this point. Still, not everyone softened. Some viewers demanded accountability louder than ever. They wanted names, clarity, and ownership. "Growth doesn't erase harm," one comment read. Another said, "If you benefit from silence, you're part of the problem." Those words echoed across platforms, keeping pressure firmly in place. The possibility of moving on without full honesty felt unacceptable to many. As days passed, it became clear that even if no final confession came, the damage was already done. Trust had been shaken. Images had cracked. Relationships had been questioned. The family was left divided in ways that might never fully heal. Some bonds might survive quietly, others would remain fractured, reminders of a night that refused to stay buried. The story entered a strange limbo. No explosive updates, no definitive endings, just lingering tension. Fans stayed alert, knowing one post, one live, one sentence could reignite everything instantly. The unresolved nature of it all kept people hooked. Emotions ran high because there was no closure, only fragments. Then, just when it seemed like the saga might fade into quiet resentment, a final tease surfaced. A short clip, heavily edited, with a voice saying, "I should have spoken sooner." No face, no name. Speculation exploded one last time. Was it real? Was it old? Was it even connected? Nobody knew, but the timing was enough to remind everyone that the story wasn't fully finished. As the internet buzzed again, one truth became unavoidable. This wasn't just about confirmation or denial anymore. It was about how silence, protection, and fear can grow into something unmanageable over time. Fans are shocked by how relatable the core emotions turned out to be, even beneath the celebrity layers. Regret, loyalty, guilt, and survival played out in front of millions. And so the story lingered, unresolved but unforgettable. Not because every detail was known, but because too many feelings had been exposed to ignore. Viewers waited, not just for answers, but to see who would finally choose honesty over comfort, clarity over protection. Until that moment came, the tension remained, heavy and unresolved, hanging over everyone involved like a question that refused to disappear. As the tension refused to settle, the conversation around the situation began to evolve into something even more complicated. It wasn't just about what happened anymore, but about why it was allowed to linger for so long. Fans started questioning the culture around silence, especially in circles where image means everything. Emotions ran high as people realized how many times uncomfortable truths get buried to protect peace, only to resurface later with more damage than before. The mood shifted from shock to reflection, and that shift made everything feel heavier. Privately, rumors claimed that some people involved were struggling more than they let on. Sleepless nights, anxiety, and regret were allegedly becoming common. One source said the pressure of knowing the internet was waiting for a move was overwhelming. "It's like living with a countdown you can't see," they said. That idea resonated deeply with fans who knew what it felt like to sit with unresolved conflict. Suddenly, the story felt less distant, less like celebrity drama, and more like a mirror. Tamar's name continued to hover over everything, even without her direct involvement. Fans debated whether her silence was strength or avoidance. Some argued that stepping back was an act of self-preservation. Others insisted that silence only shifted the burden onto others. The emotional conflict played out in real time as people projected their own experiences onto her choices. Fans are shocked by how divided opinions became, even among longtime supporters. Meanwhile, whispers suggested that Mendeecees was feeling the weight of it all in a different way. According to speculation, he was frustrated by being at the center of a narrative he wasn't actively participating in. People claimed he felt misunderstood, painted by assumptions rather than statements. Yet his continued silence became part of the story itself. Every day without a response added another layer of interpretation. Emotions ran high as fans argued whether he owed the public anything at all. Tasha K's presence loomed constantly, even when she wasn't speaking. Fans watched her closely, waiting for any signal. When she finally addressed the situation again, it wasn't with explosive claims but with reflection. She talked about how truth can be messy, how exposing something doesn't always bring relief. That moment shifted some perceptions. Viewers said it felt less like gossip and more like reckoning. Still, critics accused her of controlling the narrative by deciding when and how truth appeared. Another unexpected moment came when a fan-favorite creator publicly admitted they no longer felt comfortable covering the story. They said it felt too personal, too painful, and too real. That admission sparked a new wave of discussion. Emotions ran high as fans debated responsibility versus boundaries. Should creators keep pushing for answers, or step back when harm feels possible? There was no clear answer, only discomfort. As days blurred together, the story became part of daily online life. Even without updates, people referenced it in unrelated conversations. It became shorthand for secrecy, for consequences, for moments that refused to stay hidden. The family was left divided not just in opinion, but in how they moved forward. Some reportedly tried to repair relationships quietly, while others accepted that distance was the only option left. Behind closed doors, there were whispers of apologies that came too late. Not dramatic ones, but quiet acknowledgments of regret. Someone allegedly admitted they should have spoken up sooner, even if it caused conflict. Another reportedly said they didn't realize how much silence could hurt. Those moments, though unseen, added emotional depth to the story. Fans imagined them, filling in gaps with empathy and anger alike. The internet, however, never fully softened. While some viewers leaned toward understanding, others doubled down on demands for accountability. "Growth requires truth" became a repeated phrase. People wanted clarity, not coded language. Emotions ran high as the push and pull continued. Forgiveness felt impossible without honesty, but honesty felt dangerous without protection. Then came a subtle shift that few expected. Instead of chasing confirmation, fans began asking different questions. What happens after the truth? Who heals, and who carries the scars? The focus turned toward long-term impact rather than immediate shock. That change marked a turning point. The drama was no longer just about exposure, but about aftermath. A quiet statement from someone adjacent to the situation added to this shift. They spoke about learning from mistakes, about how one night can echo for years if left unaddressed. It wasn't dramatic or accusatory, but it landed deeply. Fans are shocked by how much meaning they found in such simple words. Sometimes, subtlety spoke louder than scandal. Still, unresolved tension lingered. Fans knew there were things unsaid, details left out. The possibility of a final reveal always hovered. Every notification sparked hope or dread. The internet waited, suspended between wanting closure and fearing the damage it might cause. Emotions ran high because both outcomes felt heavy. As the weeks passed, the story didn't fade, it settled. It became part of the collective memory, something referenced whenever silence, loyalty, or betrayal came up. Even without a clear ending, it left a mark. Relationships had changed, perceptions had shifted, trust had been questioned. In the end, what made the situation so powerful wasn't just the alleged confirmation, but the way it forced people to confront uncomfortable truths about human behavior. How often people choose comfort over honesty. How silence can protect and harm at the same time. Fans are shocked by how deeply they connected to that reality. And so the saga continued, not with constant explosions, but with a slow-burning weight that refused to disappear. Whether or not every detail ever came out, the impact was already permanent. Viewers understood that some stories don't end cleanly. They linger, unresolved, shaping how people move forward. As everyone waited for the next chapter, one thing was certain. This wasn't just a moment in gossip history. It was a lesson in how fragile trust can be, how quickly silence can turn into scandal, and how difficult it is to undo the damage once the truth starts to surface. The internet remained watchful, aware that even in quiet, the story was still unfolding, just beneath the surface, waiting for the moment it would rise again. As the silence stretched even further, people began to realize that the loudest moments of this saga were no longer happening online, but inside the people involved. The internet buzzed with theories, but the real tension lived in unanswered messages, half-written apologies, and conversations that never happened. Fans sensed it. They talked about it openly, saying the energy felt different now, heavier, slower, like everyone was walking on emotional glass. Emotions ran high, but they were quieter, more internal, and somehow more intense. Rumors continued to circulate about private attempts at closure. Some claimed there were meetings that ended with more questions than answers. Others said there were tears but no resolution. One alleged insider suggested that the hardest part wasn't the accusations, but the realization that trust had been misplaced on all sides. Nobody came out clean, they said, and that idea shifted the narrative again. Fans are shocked by how often situations like this have no clear villain, only people who made choices they can't undo. The public began to split into two camps in a new way. Not just defenders and critics, but those who wanted the truth no matter the cost, and those who believed some things should stay private forever. Debates grew more philosophical. People talked about accountability versus compassion, exposure versus healing. Emotions ran high as fans projected their own experiences with betrayal and silence onto the situation. It stopped feeling like gossip and started feeling like group therapy gone wrong. Tamar's absence continued to loom. Every day without a direct statement made her presence feel louder. Fans said they missed her voice, not just for answers, but for clarity. Others argued that her stepping back was the healthiest decision she could make. The contradiction frustrated everyone. How could silence be both self-care and avoidance? That question lingered without resolution, mirroring the larger story itself. Mendeecees remained quiet as well, and that quiet became symbolic. Some saw it as dignity, others as avoidance. Emotions ran high as fans argued whether public figures owe explanations for private matters once they become public conversation. There was no consensus, only exhaustion. People admitted they were tired of guessing, tired of decoding silence, tired of feeling like the truth was always one step out of reach. Tasha K's role in all of this continued to evolve. She was no longer just a narrator or instigator in the eyes of many viewers. She became a symbol of how information moves in the digital age, how stories escape their original owners and take on lives of their own. When she spoke about responsibility, some listened with empathy, others with skepticism. Fans are shocked by how complicated her position became, balancing influence, ethics, and audience demand. Then came a moment that felt small but carried weight. Someone close to the situation liked a comment that simply said, "This didn't have to go this far." The like was quickly removed, but not before screenshots spread. That single interaction reopened everything. People debated what this meant. The night? The exposure? The years of silence? Emotions ran high as fans read entire narratives into one tap of a finger. As weeks turned into a blur, the absence of a definitive ending became the ending itself. People slowly accepted that they might never get full confirmation or denial. Instead, they were left with fragments, emotions, and consequences. Relationships visibly changed. Collaborations never resumed. Public warmth cooled into distance. The family was left divided not by one event, but by how each person chose to handle what followed. Some fans expressed grief, not just disappointment. They talked about losing belief in certain dynamics they admired. Others spoke about growth, saying the situation taught them to see public figures as flawed humans rather than perfect images. Emotions ran high in these discussions, but they were calmer now, more reflective. Outrage softened into understanding for some, while for others it hardened into permanent distrust. Behind the scenes, there were whispers of people seeking peace away from the spotlight. Therapy, spiritual retreats, time offline. Whether true or not, the idea resonated. Fans wanted to believe healing was happening somewhere, even if they couldn't see it. The need for closure shifted from knowing details to knowing that the people involved weren't being destroyed by the fallout. Still, the internet never fully lets go. Every few days, an old clip resurfaced. Every few weeks, a vague quote reignited speculation. The story became cyclical, rising and falling without ever disappearing. Emotions ran high each time it resurfaced, though the reactions grew less explosive and more weary. Eventually, a subtle acknowledgement came, not in the form of a confession, but a reflection. Someone involved spoke about learning hard lessons, about how silence can feel protective until it becomes suffocating. They didn't name names, didn't confirm anything, but the timing made it impossible to ignore. Fans are shocked by how emotional the response was to such a restrained statement. Sometimes, the absence of detail makes words hit harder. That moment marked a quiet turning point. Not an ending, but a shift. The story stopped being about uncovering what happened and started being about living with what was implied. The internet moved on to new dramas, but this one stayed in the background, referenced, remembered, unresolved. Looking back, fans began to frame the saga differently. Not as a scandal, but as a cautionary tale. About boundaries that blur, about loyalty that costs too much, about silence that grows teeth over time. Emotions ran high because the lessons felt uncomfortably familiar. People saw themselves in the mistakes, the fear, the hesitation. And so the story settled into its final form. Not a clean conclusion, not a dramatic confession, but a lingering presence. Something that changed how people viewed everyone involved, including themselves. The family was left divided, yes, but also changed. Some bonds weakened, others redefined. Nothing returned to exactly how it was before, and maybe that was the most honest outcome of all. In the end, what remained wasn't proof or denial, but impact. The way one moment, once spoken about, can ripple through years of relationships and perception. Fans are shocked not by what was said, but by what was felt. The discomfort, the empathy, the frustration, the quiet understanding that some truths don't arrive neatly packaged. As time moved forward, the saga became less about waiting for answers and more about accepting ambiguity. The internet learned, briefly, to sit with discomfort. Emotions ran high, but they matured. And even without a final word, the story left its mark, etched into memory as a reminder that silence, once broken, can never be fully repaired, only understood. So now it's on you. After everything that unfolded, all the silence, the hints, the emotions, and the questions that still don't have clear answers, what do you really think happened? Was that night exactly what people are implying, or did the internet take fragments and turn them into something bigger than reality? Fans are still shocked, emotions are still high, and the family remains divided in ways that may never fully heal. This story didn't give us a clean ending, and maybe that's the point. Maybe some truths don't come with neat explanations, only consequences. Maybe silence protected people once, but exposed them later. Or maybe there's still one more chapter waiting to be told. Whatever side you're on, one thing is clear, this situation changed how a lot of people are viewed, and it changed how fans see the cost of secrets in the spotlight. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think someone should finally speak plainly, or is stepping back the healthiest move at this point? Do you believe silence was about protection, fear, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation is far from over, and your voice matters here. If you made it this far, make sure you hit that like button because it lets the algorithm know you're locked in. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what happens next, because if anything else comes out, you already know we'll be breaking it down. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you're always first in the room when the story moves again. Share this video with someone who's been following the drama, because everybody has an opinion, and this one deserves to be talked about. Stay tuned, stay curious, and remember, in stories like this, the truth doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, and you have to decide whether you're really ready to hear it.